In the history of the NBA, greatness is often defined by dominance, accolades, and legacy. From MJ to LeBron, Curry to Magic, every GOAT has left behind a legacy etched in stone. These were players who didn't just play the game, they defined it. They were praised, feared, and respected. One player, however, looks like a legend, but just doesn't feel like one. His skill, unmatched. His numbers, ridiculous. Championships, well, he's got them. And yet, when we talk about the greats, he's either ignored or simply disrespected. They say he chose the easy path, never truly paving his own. But if you really watched his game, you know the truth. This is a deep dive into a player with all the tools to be a legend, a career full of accomplishments and brilliance. But when it comes to legacy, there's one name that leaves more questions than answers.
Oh my goodness, Kevin Durant.
Hey guys, Jay-Z here again. I just want to take a second to thank you all so much for the recent support, even though 99% of you guys aren't subscribed yet. Also, if you want even more content, be sure to go follow my Twitch stream and talk some hoops with us. We're live there Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern. That link will be down below. Enough of all that. Let's dive deep into the perplexing career of Kevin Durant. When you think about KD, what comes to mind? Amazing scorer, guaranteed Hall of Famer. Well, what about how he's never won a ring? Wait a second, he has? Not one, but two of them? The way people talk about Durant, you would think that he has no accolades. But why is that? Well, actually, it's quite simple. These are the things that popped up after a quick Google search asking why do people hate KD? He gets every head coach fired, walks away from his team to join a rival, constantly disrespects his former teammate Russell Westbrook, and he has terrible hair? Come on, y'all, that last one's out of pocket. Despite it all, Kevin Durant is undeniably one of the greatest to ever play the game. So why doesn't he get treated like it? Let's turn back the clock and figure out where it all went wrong, starting with draft night.
In the 2007 NBA Draft, the Seattle Supersonics select Kevin Durant from the University of Texas.
Coming out of college, Kevin Durant wasn't just a prospect, he was a phenomenon. After a dominant freshman year at Texas, Durant became the first freshman ever to win the Naismith Player of the Year. He was long, smooth, and could score from anywhere on the court. A 7-footer with a guard's handle and a sniper's touch.
Durant wants it back for Texas, and he does. I mean, that's ice.
Scouts called him a unicorn, a future scoring champion, a once-in-a-generation talent. But not everyone was sold. Durant couldn't bench 185 pounds at the draft combine, and suddenly, strength became a headline. Was he too skinny? Could he handle the NBA's physicality? Well, let's just say he proved all of his doubters wrong. Kevin Durant entered the league with sky-high expectations and wasted no time living up to them. In his rookie season with the Seattle Supersonics, Durant averaged over 20 points per game, putting the league on notice. He wasn't just scoring, he was leading his team in it. From mid-range pull-ups, clutch shots, it was all there from day one. But while Durant was making noise, the team around him just wasn't. The Sonics stumbled to a 20-62 record, the worst in the league. Still, Durant stood out, earning Rookie of the Year honors and becoming the first teenager since LeBron to average 20-plus points. The Sonics were falling apart, but KD was just getting started. And with Seattle's final season in the books, the next chapter would begin in a new city with even bigger expectations. The 2008 offseason marked a fresh start. Seattle was gone, the jerseys were new, the city was different. But one thing remained the same. Kevin Durant was the future. At just 20 years old, he stepped into Oklahoma City as the face of the franchise with no history and no expectations. His second year in the league and first in OKC was a quiet explosion. Durant jumped to 25 points per game, improved his efficiency, and started to show flashes of superstardom. The team, still bad. They won just 23 games, but they had something. A core was forming. Russell Westbrook was a rookie, Jeff Green was showing promise, and Durant, he was evolving. The wins didn't matter yet. The spotlight hadn't found them, but the league was watching. And everyone knew this wasn't going to be just another rebuild. This was something special. Now, I'm not here to walk you through every single one of Durant's 16 seasons. That would take forever. Instead, let's focus on the most crucial parts, the parts that build up to the shocking plot twist that changed how the entire world saw him. Year 3 for Kevin Durant was the year everything started to click. It was at this point where I became a huge fan of his and the basketball world started to truly respect what they were building in OKC. Durant was no longer just viewed as a rising star. He was the star. He averaged 30 points per game, taking the scoring crown as the youngest player to ever do so. But it wasn't just about the stats. Durant's game had evolved. His shot was even more fluid. His defense more committed, and his leadership, though quiet, started to show. He wasn't just scoring in isolation anymore. He was dominating week after week. The Thunder, they were now a force. With a 50-32 record, they were among the league's elite. A playoff spot was theirs, and their future was looking bright. In the first round of the playoffs, they faced the defending champions, the Los Angeles Lakers. Durant and the Thunder fought hard, pushing the Lakers to 6 games. Durant gave it everything he had, but it was clear experience was still the key. Kobe Bryant led the Lakers, and despite Durant's brilliance, OKC fell short. But here's the thing, no one was counting them out anymore. The media was buzzing with one clear message: watch out, the Thunder are coming. Oh, and Kevin Durant, he arrived. His legacy was no longer in question. It was now a matter of how long it would take for him to bring a championship to OKC. Now, I know what you're all thinking. This seems like a regular start to someone's career, but just wait, because you are not prepared for what KD has in store for the basketball universe. 2010 was a huge year in history. And no, not just because of the BP oil spill, which was absolutely awful, by the way. I'm talking about the decision. LeBron James decided to take his talents to South Beach and form a super team that had the entire league on notice. But LeBron wasn't the only one cooking. The Thunder finished the season off with a strong 55-27 record and looked like a team on the rise. Come playoff time, they handled business. First, they took down Melo and the Nuggets in just 5 games. Then came the grit and grind Grizzlies, who pushed OKC to the limit. But the Thunder survived and advanced in a tough Game 7.
The game is over and the Thunder win the series.
Now, I know what you're all thinking. With Kobe, Melo, and Tim Duncan out of the picture, this should be a clear path to the finals, right? How could y'all forget about Dirk? Come on now. Quick little side note, Dirk is one of my all-time favorite players. I was trying to remember one of his nicknames the other day, so I hit up Google. Tell me why one of them was the Dirk Diggler, or my personal favorite, the 7-foot schnitzel. Anyways, Dirk and the Mavs packed up Durant and the Thunder in 5 games and went on to win one of the most impressive titles we have ever seen. If y'all want a Dirk deep dive video, let me know in the comment section down below. But for now, let's get back to KD. The Thunder got totally outclassed in this matchup. Despite Durant's brilliance, the Thunder's youth and lack of playoff poise showed, particularly in tight moments. Russell Westbrook's erratic play and questionable shot selection hurt the team, and Dallas's defense, led by Sean Marion and Tyson Chandler, locked Durant down. It's okay though, strap in y'all, because we're just getting started. The 2011-12 season was one to remember. Due to the NBA lockout, the regular season was shortened to just 66 games. But that didn't stop the Thunder from making their first true championship push. They leaned into their star's strength and added key veterans like Derek Fisher for leadership. Kevin Durant claimed his 3rd straight scoring title, Russell Westbrook averaged an impressive 24 points per game, and James Harden took home the 6th Man of the Year honors. With their core firing on all cylinders, the stage was set for a playoff run that felt destined to be something special.
Got it! Kevin Durant got it! Thunder win! 104-102! Baby!
The Thunder dismantled the Mavericks in a dominant sweep, getting sweet revenge from the previous year. In the second round, they made quick work of the Lakers, finishing the series in just 5 games.
Westbrook held by Seth. Put it down!
Then came a gritty battle with the Spurs. After falling behind 0-2, OKC stormed back to win 4 straight and take the series in 6. Finally came a series that I will never forget. The Oklahoma City Thunder versus LeBron and the Miami Heat. I remember having debates with my biology teacher in 8th grade about who was going to win a championship first, Durant or LeBron. Yeah, these were actual conversations. Durant at the young age of 23 was leading his team to the finals. Imagine Cade Cunningham taking the Pistons there right now. Wouldn't that be absolutely insane? This video was recorded on April 22nd, 2025. So the first round is probably done by the time we get this uploaded. Please tell me the Pistons upset the Knicks and there's still a chance that Cade took us to the promised land. Anyways, the 2012 finals was supposed to be the beginning of a long-lasting rivalry.
What a matchup. The 2 best teams led by arguably the 2 best players on the planet.
But what actually happened was kind of embarrassing. OKC came out swinging in Game 1, with KD dropping 36 points and the Thunder taking a 1-0 series lead. Confidence was sky high. They looked ready to take it all. But then Miami locked in. The Heat pulled off a gentleman's sweep, losing Game 1 and winning the next 4 straight to close out the series in just 5 games. OKC's inexperience was glaring. Miami's Big 3 outclassed the Thunder's young core when it mattered the most. The Thunder had talent, but the Heat had experience, poise, and LeBron James at his peak.
The last time I look at y'all in your eyes, and y'all not chapping.
Fresh off a finals loss to Miami, OKC's future looked golden. Durant, Westbrook, and Harden were all under 24, and they just made the NBA Finals.
Thunder has traded away the NBA's sixth man of the year to Houston.
Did you anticipate this? I know Kevin Durant tweeted, wow.
I think the Oklahoma City Thunder comes out better. You're getting a proven scorer in Kevin Martin.
James Harden was traded to Houston over a contract dispute. A small market team chose financial flexibility over keeping a budding big three. The Thunder lost their sixth man and a core piece of their identity. That was their first major crack in the dynasty. Now, despite the Harden trade, Durant took his game to another level. In 2014, he won the league MVP, averaging 32 points per game and delivering the iconic line.
You made sure we ate. You went to sleep hungry. You sacrificed for us. You the real MVP.
OKC won 59 games and Durant seemed unstoppable.
Look at Durant putting on a show.
But all in all, in the Western Conference Finals, they ended up losing to the Spurs in just 6 games. After his 2014 MVP season, Kevin Durant was one of the most loved athletes in the world. Fans admired his humility, work ethic, and loyalty to a small market team. His emotional MVP speech touched millions and became a cultural moment in basketball. He wasn't just a superstar. He was seen as genuine, relatable, and the kind of player people wanted to root for. I was that kid in middle school running through the halls saying Durant was going to be a top 3 player by the time it was all over. Unfortunately for Durant, he missed most of the 2015 season due to a Jones fracture in his right foot. Without him, the Thunder missed the playoffs, and the rumblings began. Was their championship window starting to close? Fast forward to the 2016 season, Durant returned healthy, Westbrook was playing at an MVP level, and OKC was back in the hunt. They finished with a record of 55-27 and entered the playoffs hyped up. After taking down the Spurs, they went up 3-1 on the 73-win Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. It looked like they were finally headed back to the finals after so many years. But then, they blew the lead. Golden State stormed back. They won 3 straight and crushed OKC's dreams. Game 6 specifically will forever haunt Thunder fans. Klay Thompson's 11 threes, the missed opportunities, and the sense that the window had finally slammed shut. I know what you're thinking. Blowing that 3-1 lead must have been a fluke, right? Durant and Westbrook are gonna run it back. Okay, well, maybe not. Maybe Durant will just test free agency and, I don't know, join the Wizards and head back to his hometown in DC? Hello? He's going where?
Former MVP Kevin Durant has decided to move to the Golden State Warriors. He'll sign a 2-year, $54+ million deal.
Well, I'm viewing it as the weakest move I've ever seen from a superstar. Plain and simple. That's just how I look at it.
Kevin Durant joins the Golden State Warriors, the team that had just eliminated him, the 73-9 juggernaut, the same squad that he nearly defeated. This wasn't just a move. It was a seismic shift that shattered fan loyalty, changed the league's balance of power, and forever altered how Durant would be perceived. What was once admiration for his humble, hardworking persona quickly turned into resentment. Durant, once seen as the NBA's golden boy, was now labeled a snake for joining a super team. His decision erased the positive image that he worked so hard to build in OKC, and he went from being a fan favorite to one of the most polarizing figures in basketball. Remember when I said that I wouldn't break down every season? For the next 2.5 years, the NBA was basically unwatchable. The Warriors cruised to easy titles in 2017 and 18, with Durant as Finals MVP in both. But honestly, aside from Warriors fans, no one else really cared. Durant's rings are like that guy who showed up to the party with store-bought cookies and still claims that he baked them. Some people respect it, but others don't. And well, I don't. While it's clear that he was the best player on that Warriors team, I just can't wrap my head around joining the team that knocked me out. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a guy making YouTube videos while Durant is out there making millions, playing basketball, and trolling people on Twitter. But it wasn't all rainbows and sunshines, because during the 2018-19 season, tensions between Draymond Green and Kevin Durant boiled over in a game against the Clippers. With the game tied in the final seconds, Draymond grabbed a rebound and pushed the ball up the floor without giving it to Durant, who was clearly calling for it. Draymond ended turning it over, and KD was heated. They started arguing on the bench, and it didn't stop there. Draymond reportedly said something along the lines of, "We don't need you. We won without you. Leave." Whew, brutal. That moment wasn't just a random flare-up either. It cracked open all the underlying tension that had been building since Durant joined the team. KD was already being hit with the constant questions about free agency and whether he'd leave the Warriors. That argument, especially coming from Draymond, one of the team's emotional leaders, felt personal. It made it clear to KD that he may never fully be one of them. The Warriors ended up suspending Draymond for a game after that, which was rare and told you how serious it was. Even though they smoothed it over publicly, Durant admitted later that the incident played a big role in his decision to end up leaving. And to top it all off, that season ended with the Warriors losing in the finals to Kawhi Leonard, who went on a historic run with the Raptors, and with KD suffering a devastating Achilles injury. So yeah, Draymond didn't technically kick KD off the team, but he definitely shoved him towards the exit.
He's gone.
He's not gone.
Sorry, but it's true.
Kevin Durant is in fact headed to Brooklyn to join Kyrie Irving and DeAndre Jordan.
That's right, Kevin Durant joined the Brooklyn Nets in 2019, teaming up with Kyrie Irving in what was hyped as the next great superstar duo. Although Durant missed the entire first season recovering from the Achilles injury that he suffered in the 2019 finals, the anticipation for his return was sky high. In the 2020-21 season, Durant finally suited up, and despite some injury setbacks, he looked every bit like his old self. Around this time, the Nets made a surprising move by hiring Steve Nash as head coach, despite having no prior coaching experience. Midway through the season, Brooklyn pushed all of their chips in and traded for James Harden, forming what many believe to be the most talented offensive trio in NBA history: Durant, Harden, and Kyrie. Expectations soared. In the playoffs, Durant delivered one of the most memorable performances of his career. In Game 5 against the Milwaukee Bucks, he dropped a 49-point triple-double, almost single-handedly winning the game. Then, in Game 7, he hit a clutch shot that looked like a game-winning three, but his foot was barely on the line. It tied the game instead of winning it, and the Nets lost in overtime. It was unfortunately the closest that trio ever got to a title. The next season was a mess. Kyrie missed much of the year due to his refusal to get that special vaccine. Harden grew frustrated with the chaos and poor team chemistry and eventually forced his way out, getting traded to the 76ers. Durant was once again left to carry the load, but the Nets got swept by the Celtics in the first round of the playoffs. A stunning collapse for a team with championship aspirations.
One of the preseason favorites to start the year, the Brooklyn Nets, and it all fell apart at multiple iterations.
In the offseason, Durant requested a trade, reportedly even asking for the GM and Steve Nash to be fired. The situation cooled off and he returned to the 2022-23 season, but by then, it was clear that the Nets super team experiment had failed. Nash was fired early in the season after a rocky start and a locker room clearly on the brink. When the Kyrie saga flared up again, this time with the off-court controversy, the Nets began unloading everything. First, Kyrie was traded. Then, Durant was sent to Phoenix in a blockbuster deal in February 2023, officially ending the most chaotic and disappointing era in Nets history. They still haven't recovered. What started as a dream turned into one of the biggest what-ifs in NBA history. But surely things will turn around for him in Phoenix, right? The Suns were ready for a playoff caliber team with Devin Booker and Chris Paul, and adding Durant felt like the final piece to push them over the top. On paper, they looked unstoppable. But as you all know, reality hit quickly. Durant only played 8 games with the Suns before the playoffs due to a sprained ankle he suffered during warm-ups. Yeah, warm-ups, delaying the super team chemistry that everyone wanted to see. The Suns entered the 2023 playoffs with high expectations. They got past the Clippers in the first round, but it wasn't pretty. In the second round, they ran into the eventual champion Denver Nuggets. Despite huge scoring nights from Booker and Durant, Phoenix just didn't have the depth or defensive cohesion. They eventually lost in 6 games, and just like that, the dream ended early. The Game 6 loss was brutal. They got blown out by 25 at home, and the arena emptied out before the final buzzer. That offseason, the Suns went all in again, trading for Bradley Beal and moving on from longtime leader Chris Paul. The idea was simple: form another big three and try again, because that always works out, right? But the 2023 season didn't go as planned either. Injuries hit all 3 stars at different times. The team lacked continuity and the bench depth was thin. Coaching was also an issue. Head coach Monty Williams had already been let go after the playoff loss to Denver, and his replacement, Frank Vogel, struggled to make things click. There were stretches where the Suns looked like contenders, but they never put it together consistently. The 2024 playoffs were another disappointment, with the Suns getting swept in the first round by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Durant and Booker had some moments, but the team looked disjointed, overwhelmed, and simply outplayed. After that disaster, the Suns decided to part ways with Frank Vogel, a tough but understandable move given the underperformance. The 2024-25 season brought new hope to Durant and the Suns after a year of frustration. The Suns hired a new head coach, hoping fresh leadership could unlock the potential of their star-studded lineup. Durant, Booker, and Beal, along with a healthy roster, they were finally ready to make a true push for a championship. Who am I kidding? Once again, things didn't go according to plan. Despite flashes of brilliance from Durant, the Suns struggled with consistency. Injuries still plagued the team, especially Beal. He just couldn't stay on the court for a prolonged stretch. Durant continued to do his thing, scoring at will and being the true offensive juggernaut he is. But the lack of a fully healthy roster and cohesion cost them dearly. Mid-season tensions began to rise. The Phoenix Suns were still not a finished product, and their playoff positioning was shaky. The pressure was all on Durant to carry the load, but the team couldn't seem to click. With no real cohesion or momentum, they found themselves out of playoff contention before the final stretch of the season. Missing the playoffs for the first time in years, the Suns season ended in utter disappointment, leaving Durant to face yet another year of unmet expectations. This season marked a low point for Durant and the Suns, as what was once seen as a potential championship caliber roster had failed to even reach the postseason. It was a tough blow for a team that seemed poised to be a title contender just one season ago. And guess what? Durant is back on the trade block this summer, once again. From the moment he stepped onto an NBA court, Kevin Durant was undeniable. A 7-foot scoring savant with the grace of a guard and the instincts of a killer. He didn't just belong in the league, he threatened to dominate it. And for a while, it felt like destiny. But somewhere along the way, something shifted. His story didn't unfold like a hero's arc, it zigzagged. Each chapter is filled with brilliance, yet shadowed by doubt. Because for all the buckets, for all of the accolades, the path he walked never felt like the one we imagined for him. He reached the mountaintop, but the climb felt borrowed. Durant will go down as one of the most skilled players to ever touch a basketball. He has an MVP, 2 rings, and before it's all said and done, he'll finish in the top 5 on the NBA's all-time scoring list. Statistically, he was legendary. But when we talk about legacy, numbers are only half the story. Westbrook and Harden, his former running mates, never won a ring, but they showed the world who they were as solo acts, earning MVPs without having to choose a different jersey. Durant won, but many still question what it actually meant. Because in a sport where greatness is defined by the weight of your decisions, not just the height of your success, KD's path will forever be a reminder that how you climb matters just as much as how high you go. Durant had the whole world behind him, and then, almost overnight, he had the whole world praying for his downfall. He didn't try to take down the best. Instead, he joined them. And in doing so, he sacrificed the very thing that made people root for him in the first place. His journey, his struggle, and the belief that he could one day rise to the top on his own. So now, we're left with this cold truth. How can a player be this great and still leave behind a legacy this empty? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.